I'm Esme,
And I'm Nell.
and today we are going to be talking about Dogfight.
We love Pasek and Paul, and we've never said anything bad about Pasek and Paul.
I'm gonna say a hot take.
Ever.
Never, 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 never,
Never.
never. I'm gonna say a hot take, like right off the bat. Pasek and Paul have not written a good song since Dogfight.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm only kind of joking. But first we have some news, not nearly as much as last year's. Not last year's,
Last year's
last year's. No, last week, because last week was mental.
insane. I think last week was insane purely because we were both so exhausted. I am recovering from the 3-day stint in the library, by the way.
Yeah, finally.
Um, finally. But we were both exhausted, and
Yeah.
then
It was
it
like
was like hours worth of news.
it was like the so I cut it down, obviously. So if it seems like I'm just talking really fast, it's because I had just had a coffee, no sleep. I am experiencing quite physical side my physical body is going through it stress-wise. Yeah, things are gonna get a bit kooky around here until about, I don't know, March the 1st, until the Tony and Noms come out. Um
That's not even true because March the 1st we will be like
not no
about
March
to see him.
March the 1st is gonna be the peak of the insanity. I meant May the 1st.
May the 1st, we might chill a little bit.
After May and the Tony nominations come out, I think I will calm down, finally. If I don't have a hashtag between now and then. That's a half a joke. I'm young, I swear. Um,
Drink your electrolytes.
my electrolytes. Shout out to the Boots own brand Re-Energize. I don't even know what vitamin this is. It's orange flavor.
Sorry,
I
can I
refuse.
just let you know that I just got the Wordle in two? Oh
Oh
my
my God,
God.
should should I tell you what I've been playing? Like an
What?
unhealthy amount? Noctogram.
What is that?
It's like I love playing it because I it's something to do with like my hands that I have to really think about. This game.
Oh my God, I love those.
I started playing it again on Sunday. I'm on level 157.
Jesus. I used to be really into do you remember how they had all of those like knockoff Wordles?
Yeah.
I got really into Global,
Mm,
which is basically guess the country,
mm.
but I think it's really fun.
When I was really quiet, when I was like, I don't know, last May, which was not a good time for me personally, I got really into Swiftle Rapid,
Mm,
and me and my friend would like just send for our mutual friend each other's scores. So she was like the unwilling middleman between the two of us, just going, tell them I've just got this score on Swift or Rapid. And then they got a score, and I was like to him, dude, I'm not beating that score because I actually can't be asked to sit there for like 2 hours and do it.
I just got the Global in five.
But my re-energized drink, it's got vitamin B, and it is sugar-free, caffeine-free, and free of any artificial stimulants because I have already had my 2 coffees today. If I drink any more, I will be bouncing off the walls. Um, Apparently you should only take one tablet per day, which I do stick to. Um,
Good.
yeah, yeah, that's how life is going at the moment. Yeah, so news, what have we got? Fiddler on the Roof returns to the Barbican after playing the open air theatre. I keep forgetting that it played the open air theatre.
Yeah, I mean, I don't because I had an incredible set.
I want to go see it at the Barbican. I tried to convince my uncle, who only likes Fiddler on the Roof and The Sound of Music, to take me. And he was like, I can watch the movie from the comfort of my own home. And I was like, whatever. Boring.
Whatever.
I tried showing him photos of the set and he's like, I don't care. I was like, you're boring. But we should go see it at Barbican because they do £10 tickets if you're under 25.
Yeah, I think so. We should do it.
We should do it. Um, the Barbican is far to go to. That's why we often don't go to the Barbican Cellar Show. This is the. I keep forgetting, because obviously Olivia is. I keep forgetting that it's an award contender. like a pretty big one.
Mm.
Revival. I think revival is going to be a very interesting category at the Olivier's this year
Oh God, yeah. I think Fiddler on the Roof still sounds like a big chance of winning.
because it's Hello Dolly, which was a massive success.
Oh, fuck, but I want Hello Dolly to win.
Kiss Me Kate, which did okay but got good reviews. Then Starlight, which is doing exceptionally well, got amazing reviews. And then I mean, it's Fiddler on the Roof, so
Mm.
it's gonna be an interesting one to watch.
I feel like Starlight might actually win.
I think they might give it to Starlight just because it's still running.
Yeah. They do like Andy.
That's the thing. They might give Andy another Olivier again this year, like they did last year for Sunset, because he really
Okay.
worked hard for the new orchestrations.
Yeah.
Well, they'll give him a new one for his anti-global warming.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, now onto some news that really made me feel like I was ancient. Hamilton turned 10 officially this week.
Insane.
It's kind of the whole year of Hamilton turning 10, but like its actual like 10th anniversary came quite quietly because it was the public
Mm.
anniversary, like the when it premiered to the public. Um, Happy birthday, Hamilton.
Happy
You
birthday, Hamilton.
feels weird to say, but it did kind of change my life. Um, we'll get into Hamilton a bit more later on in the year. Apparently, the Smash musical officially launched, and there was a quote in the article which was like, apparently Ivy Lynn is like Sutton Foster, like the Sutton Foster of Broadway. Wrong take. Ivy Lynn is, how do I explain? I think the best way to explain Ivy Lynn is the reason why you root for her is because she's an underdog in a lot of ways.
Mm.
She's been in 13, like in the series anyway. She was in 13 Broadway shows and she's never been given the chance to be a lead. She's always been a chorus girl, which there's no, like, that's not me bashing the chorus, it's just the Smash logic, and Smash logic.
As people who have all
Huh?
as people who have also always been the chorus girls.
Yeah, I think I've not been chorus like twice.
I think I've been not chorus like once.
Yeah. Um, but like Smash logic isn't real life logic, but like
Yeah.
Um, and so when she's doing stuff like getting addicted to pills a la Marilyn, you're like, it's just because she really wants a breakout role to impress her mother, Bernadette Peters. Um, and Paul Wontorek, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, the guy who owns Broadway.com, he's the editor-in-chief of Broadway.com. If you spent enough time on Broadway internet pre-2020, you know this man. Um, he is in the press photo. I love the press photo. It's like that is Smash. Um, I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen because I don't think any of us want anything other than the stage, other than the TV show, but they've changed it, and so we're all like, don't change something that's bad, ridiculous, and doesn't make sense, please. Um,
Don't make it better.
Come on, don't make a coherent plot for the stage.
How would you make it make sense?
No, just do all of Act One. We'll all sit there for 20 hours and watch you do all of Act One. Thank you, including Ivy's pill addiction and them singing in Times Square. Um, they sing a Rihanna song in Times Square whilst Ivy is dressed
God.
in the most iconic outfit ever. She's wearing an angel costume, sunglasses, and she's drinking like tequila from a bottle. And I saw that as a child and as a teenager and went, that is the pinnacle of cool. And I stand by that. Um, the new Oh Mary cast have started. Very excited. Betty Gilpin has been doing the Oh Mary jokes on Twitter. I don't know if we talked about this. The cast of Operation Mincemeat went to go see Oh Mary.
Yeah, and I'm furious about it. Because are they still in England or not? Where are they? I need to know their location so I can like avoid them.
We're not in London or New York at the moment, though.
but we could be.
Trust me, if I were in London, if I were in London or New York, I'd be going to see Hadestown right now. If I just happen to slip off to the Lyric Theatre at some point in the next 2 weeks, or however long we've got until it is sold out for 5 weeks, I'm saying this like I don't have tickets during that time. But I don't know, in light of recent events, I really need to go see Hadestown. Um, anyway, onto some nonsense that I found absolutely hilarious this week. Miley Cyrus. Okay, I don't know if we didn't talk about this last week, but the Sweaty Oracle put out a rumor being like the Sally Bowles after Eva Noblezada is going. It's allegedly rumor, not confirmed. Sweaty Oracle does rumors. That's his kind of whole shtick. He is very much like, this is rumor, this is tea. Believe me or not. That's
And
always been.
sometimes he does it as he's like, I've had this from like 50 reputable
Yeah,
sources. And
yeah,
sometimes he's just like, someone on the street came up to me
yeah.
and said, Miley Cyrus is going to be in Cabaret. And I'm reporting it.
He's like very much like,
Sometimes he gets in his Discord and he's like, guys, let's make up a rumor. Come
yeah,
on, give me your best ones.
yeah. No, like he's never said anything that he's reporting as fact until it is confirmed.
Yeah.
And I always respect that about him of being like, I might be talking out my
A
ass.
little bit.
Huh?
When something gets confirmed, I always like how he brags a little bit. He's like, as I told you months ago.
As I was the first to report.
As I reported on months back.
If
We
I knew...
now have confirmation.
Here's the thing, if I knew Broadway gossip, I'd be so annoyed like that though.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I would give just to go in that email and just like search key terms?
Oh my
See
God,
the stuff
yeah.
he's been sent. Like, give me an hour and that inbox, and my life would be fulfilled. But no, he was like, I heard a rumor that Miley Cyrus is the Sally Bowles after Eva Noblezada, and the Miley Cyrus fans found the Sweaty Oracle, started reporting on it like it was fact. Let me pull up the tweet because it makes me giggle like none other.
Oh, is this the one that was like that has been recently played by stars like
Yes,
Liza Minnelli?
I have to read it out because it is the funniest shit I have ever read. Okay, found it. Miley Cyrus access. I'm not coming after the Miley Cyrus fans. You guys are just funny to me this week. In the same way that like I often laugh at the stupidity of Swifties. I am a Swiftie, you know? Stan culture on especially Twitter is like accessible. And this is not the place. Miley Cyrus will debut in the Broadway production of Cabaret playing Sally, the protagonist of the story. Wrong. Sally is just not the protagonist. Sally doesn't really do anything. The story just kind of happens to her. It's been this really interesting change since it premiered of Sally just kind of becoming one of the star vehicles. Major icons have previously played the role, including Liza Minnelli, Emma Stone, and Michelle Williams.
Sure.
She would join the first round of performances, with Eva Noblezada replacing her later on. The new production begins March 31st of this year. It got user notes. User note noted.
Oh, community noted.
Community noted. Elon Musk has ran Twitter into a fucking cesspool. But the community notes are funny.
Community notes are good.
Citing a Playbill article. It's so funny to me. So funny to me. I love this is just like my favorite like instance so far this year of Broadway gone mainstream. People just fundamentally not understanding it. I don't know about the rumor. It's a rumor. Who knows? We'll see.
I think it'd be fun if she does.
Yeah,
I think she could do a very good Sally.
Sally is canonically British, so I'd be intrigued to see the accent.
Yeah, but
I would be.
I can forgive a bad British accent.
We're about to talk about Emily Ashford.
Oh God, there is one person I can't forgive. It's happened multiple times.
That is true. I do agree. I know.
Like, I can
agree
forgive one bad British
Okay,
accent.
you have one
That's
chance.
fine.
Yeah.
If Miley Cyrus goes into cabaret and does a bad British accent, fine.
If
I'll
she
be
does it
annoyed about
twice.
it, but I'll be fine with it. When Annalie Ashford does a bad British accent multiple times across multiple years, across multiple productions, take some respect. Get a dialect coach. Like, fix it.
I agree. I let Mel rock when it comes to her Annalie Ashford beef because it is.
I think Annalie Ashford is an amazing actress. I love her.
I think she's very funny.
She's very funny. She's very talented. It is purely the British accent. Pisses me off.
Yeah, and that's all right.
Either learn how to do it or stop doing it. Okay.
Yeah. No,
That's my take.
I understand it. Talking of fascism, can I say that?
Yeah.
TikTok goes away for like 12 hours, man. And then everyone thanked Trump for bringing it back. Trump wasn't president. I hate to tell you. And then he got inaugurated, and then Elon Musk did a Nazi salute. Again, can I say this? I don't know what will get taken down and what
He
wouldn't here.
allegedly did a Nazi salute. He did something that looked very similar to a Nazi salute, if it was not one.
He's calling it a Roman salute, which is what Mussolini used.
Which is worse.
Mussolini is a dictator as well.
Yeah, Mussolini is also a fascist.
Yeah. Anyway, in other news, I have decided that I have to outlive Elon Musk this week. Like, it's one of my life goals. Him, Donald Trump, which I don't think I will because which I think I will quite easily because he's like 80. And Jim Bob Duggar are the three guys I have to outlive. Dead Outlaw, off-Broadway cast to return to the Broadway run. I keep forgetting this is going to Broadway.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it's about. I looked at plot synopsis and I still couldn't tell you, but I was listening to the Broadway Breakdown talk about Tony predictions and they think this is a good shot, so I should probably start paying attention. Ryan McCartan begins performances as Gatsby.
Which we're all so happy about, I'm sure.
I'm glad Jeremy Jordan's going into Floyd Collins because I love Gattle. Love Gattle so much. People also think he might be nominated for a Tony for that performance. I don't care about Ryan McCartan, okay? Got to stop pairing even a sort of absolute losers on stage. I'm gonna have to cut that. Another musical that I should probably be paying more attention to this season. I've just been so focused on Mincemeat on Broadway, guys.
Yeah.
It's all I've
It's gonna be a fun Tonys.
I'm so intrigued. I haven't told you this. I re-listened to Mincemeat last week. I have no idea how the final scene is gonna go. That's what I'm gonna say. In light of this week's events. I'm not gonna spoil it in case you haven't seen it or gonna go see it because it is best experienced live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Erica Henningsen, Michelle Park, Cho, Barbara, Emily Berg, and Gracie Lawrence joined the cast of the just-in-time Bobby Darin musical with Jonathan Groff. Did you see that TikTok song that people were saying was like their new industry plan?
Which one?
The one where everyone was like, "This sounds like a Target ad."
No, I can't say I have.
Where it started.
If I open TikTok now, I will almost definitely get one with it.
And they were like belting, and like it sounded like a rock thing.
I don't think so.
Anyway, that's where Gracie Lawrence is from. She's from the band called Lawrence. I don't know. I should probably pay.
Oh, the fucking BuzzFeed top 10 ways that you hate me.
Possibly.
It's the same one that went viral a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Which was the "Tell me what you need."
Yes, that one. Yeah.
That one. Yeah, I have heard it.
Yeah, so that girl is going into the Bobby Darin musical starring Jonathan Groff. Happy
But
for her.
actually, in a very weird way, that actually made me remember a bit of news that we've forgotten. But
What?
why am I single closed?
That's bad that we forgot that. Oh, why am I so single?
Poor why am I so single?
Oh, why am I so...
I am sad it closed.
I'm so
Um,
excited to see it.
I know. They put out a little statement which seemed to imply they might be going on tour.
I could see them doing a small tour.
They basically said this might not be the last time you see us in the UK.
I still can't
It's basically
believe
something along those lines.
I still can't believe
But
that the cast recording's not officially out.
they are going to release it though. They said we're releasing our cast recording. We might come back, maybe not like on the West End, but what?
Breaking Broadway news.
Uh-oh.
The new Elphaba and Glinda have been announced.
Oh my God, who is it?
It's finally a black woman playing Elphaba.
Who is it?
Uh, Lenny, Lenikia, I can't say that last name. I'm so sorry, love. Oh, she recently played Angelica on the national tour of Hamilton. Will assume the role of Elphaba. Alice Trim, Glyn from 13 the Musical, will be
Oh
Glinda.
my God, I know that one.
Can you tell me how to say her name properly?
I'm looking it up.
Len, Len, Lenica Kabidi?
Lencia Kabide? Kabidi?
Yes. Yes.
Kabid?
Yes.
Apologies.
Very happy for her. That's exciting.
I do think that Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande will go into the roles at some point.
Interesting. I don't think.
I truly believe that they will go into the roles.
Hmm.
I think it might just be for like a short-term thing, like for like a month.
I could see them doing an event.
Mm.
Uh,
My thing is, I think if they do actually go into the roles properly, either on Broadway or the West End, they're not going to do it this year
no, they do it next year.
because they want all of their like pull on Wicked to go towards the movie.
Yeah,
But
but
I could see next year they might do it.
the last thing I'm going to say about this casting is it is bad that it has taken
20
21
years?
years
Yeah.
this to happen.
I did see a lot of interesting when the Wicked movie came out, part one.
Yes.
I did
Yes.
see a lot of interesting stuff about how the role of Elphaba was written
For
for a Jewish woman,
yes.
which I do think is a very interesting point,
Mm.
and something that we should acknowledge.
Mhm.
But I do then also think that just even within the past 21 years,
Mhm.
we have definitely moved away from casting just Jewish women
Oh
as
yeah.
like in
Yeah.
the role of Elphaba. But
Yeah.
we've never cast a black woman, even though it is so obvious the similarities between Elphaba's stories and the like general story of black women.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but I think we said it in the Wicked episode,
Episode.
almost
Yeah.
definitely. But I think that's what we were getting at,
Mm.
regardless of what the intention of the role was,
Mm-hmm.
it was originally written for.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deny that the story is very similar to black women's stories,
Yeah.
and therefore we probably should have had a black woman play Elphaba on Broadway at some point in the past 21 years. And I'm glad we finally do.
Yes.
Um, it is just insane it took 21 years.
Yeah, I think that's the thing of this thing is 21 years old, like hundreds of women have played Elphaba at this point, and for this to be the first time that this is happening on Broadway in the full-time role, because I know Lily Cooper was a standby, um,
Yeah.
is crazy.
Because it might be one of those things where it's race is viewed differently in America than how we view it in the UK.
Oh, 100%.
Where it might be one of those things of in their eyes as in the general America's eyes, is it appropriate to cast a black woman in this role?
Yeah, I don't know.
And like because you are casting a black woman and then changing her skin color.
But
If that makes like because you're saying then oh like even though these struggles yes are very similar to what like you might have gone through as a black woman, actually it happened to a green woman instead.
Yeah.
Like, is it erasing that race? Is it easier to look at it as if you're starting as a white woman, is it
Mm.
easier to play that role or view that role as someone who's green? I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
No, I
basically,
get what you're saying. I would just counter that by saying it's the world of Oz.
yeah,
Let it hold up a mirror to our world, because it
yeah,
already is, even more.
yeah.
And I'm glad that Cynthia Erivo's casting and her presence in the movie and being being a dark-skinned black woman has caused for other opportunities for black women to play the role in
Mm.
America. Because we've just had Alexia Cardaman. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name. Who's been playing the role of Elphaba for like a year and a half now.
Mm.
And I'm not saying the UK is perfect for it. God knows we've got a long way to go, but you know, we beat
Yeah.
America to it. Um, anyway, interesting. Um, More casting announcements. JJ Newman is going into Hamilton as George Ika.
Who's coming for you, Thane Jasperson? Watch out.
Dane Jasperson is never going to
Happy
leave.
10 years, Thane Jasperson, by the way.
Guys, guys, everyone's so focused on are the original cast coming back for the 10th anniversary of Hamilton.
That
Thane
you've forgotten.
Jasperson's right
Thane
there.
Jasperson's still there.
Thane Jasperson's still there every single night, showing up and playing. Oh God,
Basically, whatever role is needed.
yes, yeah. Thane. I want to see.
Thomas
I want to
Seabury.
see Thomas Seabury, Simon Seabury. I would have been able to
Thomas.
do it. Oh my God.
It is Thomas.
Yeah, you're probably right. Um,
Listen, man, 10 years, it's all coming back.
it's all coming back to me now. Um, I would like to see Thane Jasperson do a one-man Hamilton. I believe he can do it. Someone, one night. Don't announce it to the public.
I need to see Thane Jasperson as George Washington, actually.
I think he, he's
I
gonna.
think he could eat at one last time.
Oh yes, I think Thane Jasperson would be a great Eliza Schuyler.
I do need the one man Hamilton.
Thane Jasperson's version. Um,
He needs to do like 54 below one man Hamilton with Thane Jasperson.
and we would fly to go
We
see
would
that.
go.
We would go. Cruel Intentions tour have announced casting. Abby Budden is returning from. I think she's the only one returning from the.
I feel like there might be one other person returning, but off the top of my head, I don't know who.
Yeah. Um, Tina Tour announced casting in the UK. I forgot that Tina Turner was touring. Oh, now on to something else that enrages me. Nick Jonas butchers Jamie. One, why is there a non-Jewish man playing Jamie? Two, why are you casting a non-Jewish man who supports Elon Musk to play Jamie? Is it really worth those ticket sales?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dogfight. It's a musical with music and lyrics by Ben Pasek and Justin Paul and a book by Peter Duchan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of this man before. I started researching this. So sorry. I like your work because this is all I know you from. Um,
You've done at least one good thing.
we have to get deep into the origin stories of Ben Pasek and Justin Paul, two guys you have no idea about. Everyone listening at home are like, who are these two people?
Who were Pasek and Paul?
Who are Pasek and Paul? Ben Pasek and Justin Paul met at summer orientation before their freshman year at the University of Michigan, where they were both in the theatre department. Pasek was from Philadelphia.
Losers.
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 Pasek was from Philadelphia, and Paul was born in St. Louis but grew up in Connecticut. They became instant friends and soon enough artistic collaborators. Pasek would say about the start of their friendship and creative partnership. We became fast friends, mostly because we were the worst people in our ballet class, so we'd hide behind each other to avoid being seen.
That's how we became friends as well, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't because someone we don't like.
Someone introduced us. No, no, no.
No, that's not. That's not the origin story of our friendship. We got cast in the worst roles in the musical our sophomore year. I was cast as man with a camera, and Justin was cast as backup Asian dancer. What?
Oh,
I did this last night when I wasn't really paying attention. University of Michigan, you should answer for that. So we thought this is a disaster. We need to do something ourselves. We ended up tinkering and creating songs our freshman year, and but when we got cast in these devastatingly small parts, we were like, we're gonna create our own show and stick it to the man. We ended up writing Edges. So Edges is a musical I actually know, believe it or not. I just keep forgetting that it's written by these guys. A song I used to sing as a small child called In Short. Don't ask why I sing it as a young child. It's a great song, one of their best. Genuinely, it's hilarious. Um, it's all about a woman who wants to kill her boyfriend.
Perfect.
Yeah. Um, the first move they made was not to write a show, but to book a performance house and invite everybody that they knew to see the show. They assumed that if anybody purchased a ticket, then they'd actually have to write the show. That's how it was born. They gave themselves a deadline and went for it. That would be Edges would be the musical that would get them noticed, with there being 12 other productions across colleges within a year. So they're these wonderkins. They're these new kids on the block. Everyone's going, who's Pasek and Paul?
Many are still going, who's Pasek and Paul?
Every day I wake up and go, did I dream that these guys are real? God, I hope so. They would then agree to start working with Justin Paul's old friend from elementary school, Peter Duchamp. They gave him the task of coming up with something of a youthful energy that felt American, with him coming up with these high-minded intellectual idea that they weren't excited about. So they were like, find us a property we can adapt into a musical. One day he bought the DVD of Dogfight, a 1991 film that never got much attention, with it only making $394,000 at the box office, but having a 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. However, this was a plus for Justin Paul, with him saying, a little gem few people knew about. That's very foreign, actually. It meant that we could change the story without having people wait for the line that they remember from the movie. It was just what we were looking for. This is actually true. I find that the best musical adaptations are based on like films that not everybody knows.
Yeah. Like I think that's where a lot of the issues with something like Mean Girls come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's because everyone knows it, so you can't change anything.
Yes.
Whereas something was a good one that was
Waitress. That's what I was thinking.
Waitress. Yeah.
There's no icon. There's no like. You can't sit with us, or that's fetch. Stop trying to make fetch happen in Waitress.
Yeah.
And I forget that Dogfight is based on a film. Um, they were also trying to find a story that was about young people and that wasn't necessarily set now, but would resonate with modern times. The story is set on the eve of the JFK assassination, which they like mentioned the date like twice and then never again. And as someone who doesn't know the date of the JFK assassination offhand, it went completely over my head.
I feel like it doesn't impact the story that much.
It just adds to the looming sense of,
Yeah, that this is like one last normal night.
yeah, like the looming sense of terror and like, I don't know, when I think about Dogfight, there's definitely a heaviness to it of like, the world's gonna end tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were on the eve of America changing in a big way. It felt when we were in the rain, there were many things that happened in America, like the Obama administration that felt parallel. Interesting. I don't know if I agree with you. Thematically, we were interested in a story that felt pertinent but otherworldly at the same time. They would acquire the rights from Warner Bros. Was working on it for about 3.5 years. Soon enough, the music reached the ears of director Joe Mantello. I heard 3 songs from the show years ago, and on that basis, I met Justin and Benj. He recalled, they went and had lunch. He said, I think you guys are great, and somewhere down the line, I think we can do something together. I'd like that. Dogfight turned out to be that down the line. The two-time Tony winner of Assassins and Take Me Out, and obviously Wicked. The guy who directed Wicked directed Dogfight for some fucking reason. didn't hesitate, shepherding the project with a knowing hand. It's been so exciting to collaborate with three people at the very beginning of their careers. Their enthusiasm, their optimism, infectious. Thenceforth, Dogfight would be born into the world. It would premiere at the Second Stage Theatre on the 27th of June 2012, starring Lindsay Mendez, Derek Klena, and Annalie Ashford. It would officially open on the 16th of July 2012, making it the off-Broadway premiere of Pasek and Paul. The New York Times, Ben Brantley would say, yet even when the boys behave badly, really bad, Dogfight proceeds in a melancholy, tuneful, and slightly hesitant trickle that seems to be apologizing for the unpleasantness. Written by Ben Pasek and Justin Paul and Peter Ducharme, all in their 20s, directed by longtime Broadway craftsman Joe Mantello, Dogfight finds feet that match its heart only when it wrestles into a sweet, old-fashioned love story in the second act. Such strong machismo creates a pretty heavy load for a gentle chamber musical. While they use a lot of strong four-letter words, the military buddies sing close to Four Seasons style harmony that reminded me nothing of the innocent date-seeking youths in Saturday Night, a 1950s musical featuring the songs by an untried talent named Stephen Sondheim. We'll talk about it in a moment. We'll talk about.
We'll get into it.
I'm going to start calling Pasek and Paul industry plants because I genuinely feel like they might have been.
No, I think they did. The thing is, with Pasek and Paul, is that their songs are actually really good. Like, even with, like, Dear Evan Hansen, it fucking slaps.
Unfortunately.
Like, it's good music.
Good music.
The story is horrific.
But
like, unfortunately, the music is pretty good.
I'm gonna save what I'm about to say. When I say like Pasek and Paul are industry plant, I'm joking. But it is really funny to look back on it, how everyone in the press was just kind of like, oh my god, these guys are gonna come save us. They're the new musical theatre people. When
Yeah.
they've only written like 4 musicals and they've not done another musical since Dear Evan Hansen.
I know.
Anyway. More than most theatrical forms, musicals rely on sheer charm, on integrating themselves into the crowd through performance. The creators of Dogfight clearly don't want to be perceived as endorsing the activities of these rowdy young men, but they don't want to alienate their audiences either. Miss Mendez, who sung backup for Cheryl Renee Scott in Everyday Rapture and appeared in Godspell on Broadway, has a more than adequate pipes and dispenses sparkle generously, ever piling it on. More essentially, for the show's purposes, she creates an emotionally credible and knowledgeable character in the guitar-playing, socially conscious Rose. A fan of Woody Guthrie and Joan Bates. I've really got into Joan Bates a lot recently. I read an essay about her by Joan Didion. Fascinating. Rose is a harbinger of the hippie mecca that San Francisco will come to be in the 1960s. Miss Mendez grounds her character's social symbolism in a genuine, instinctive compassion that explains Rose's attraction for an anxious young marine about to depart for an alien land. Mr. Pasek and Mr. Paul have written a winning low-key date song for the couple, finding melodic grace in romantic awkwardness. Variety would say, a vicious first act about Vietnam-bound Marines organizing a statistic contest turns sensitive and tender in the second act of Dogfight, a new musical at second stage. This Joe Mantello-helmed vehicle has plenty going for it, including the better-than-usual score grippingly performed by Lindsay Mendez, self-described as lonely, pathetic, ugly, fat girl. A gracious cruelty of a setup, though it makes the female leads downright unlikable, leaving a bitter taste that, whilst integral to the plot, might put off viewers. Second stage subscribers are well accustomed to provocative musicals, but Dogfight looks to be a difficult sell for wider audiences. Both Eddie and the audience are quick to realize that Rose is no dog. He tried to disincentivize her, but it was too late, and the contest at the end of the first act is just plain mean. When the characters behave in ways so heinous that they deserve to be shot, the authors immediately thereafter send them to Vietnam, and the audience is left on uncomfortable ground. The police, nevertheless, is intriguing. Benj, Pasek, and Justin Paul are impressive, particularly in what they are writing for Rose. She's a fan of Woody Guthrie, so her songs have a folksy flavour. Mendes soars with nothing short of wonderful and Before It's Over, with the musical highlight being the effective boy-girl duet First Date Last Night. In the estranged pair with nothing in common tentatively feel their way forward. Benj, Pasek, and Justin Paul's songs for the abrasive Marines are functional but harsh. There's a This is a quirky, intimate musical with impressive but difficult material, not unlike off-Broadway wartime turners Violet and Yank. These two worthy titles are unable to make the leap for a commercial transfer. Dogfight has plenty going for it, but could well find itself in the same platoon. It is synopsis time. And then I have so
Yay!
much to share. So many thoughts about Dogfight.
It's November 21st, 1963. Tomorrow, JFK gets shot.
They didn't say that.
It doesn't say that.
That's
On
Mel's
the eve that's not an interpretation, that's a fact. It's November 21st, 1963. On the eve of their deployment to a small but growing conflict in Southeast Asia, 3 young Marines set out for one final boys' night of debauchery, partying, and maybe a little trouble. When Corporal Eddie Birdlace meets Rose, an awkward and idealistic waitress whom he enlists to win a crucial bet with his fellow recruits, she rewrites the rule of the game and teaches him the power of love and compassion. Dogfight.
Yes. Where do we want because by its very nature, Dogfight is a story in which we're not supposed to agree with the actions of Eddie.
Yeah.
Any person who is seen as anything but quote unquote good would not agree with the actions of Eddie. So
I think when talking about Dogfight, it's easiest to start with what's wrong with it. Because Dogfight does a lot of good. There's a lot I love about
I
Dogfight.
really do love Dogfight, and I find it interesting that this musical offers a more nuanced portrayal of an unlikable male character and offers us a lot more to think about in relation to our society than maybe some of their other later ventures.
Yeah.
Dear Evan Hansen.
I also really think that Dogfight is limited by it being written by men.
Oh, 100%.
One part because, as we said earlier, they're adapting it from a film that isn't well known. They could change things.
The film was also written by and directed by a woman. Which
yes. They could change things, and the film's old.
91.
You know, yeah. You could change things about Dogfight the musical to make it slightly more bearable.
Yeah.
And I think one of those things is like this need for Rose to be a like teacher character. Like, why is it her responsibility to teach Eddie? Being mean to women based on their looks is wrong. You shouldn't do that.
She literally says at one point to Eddie, "Hey Eddie, you hurt my feelings."
Yeah.
And it's like
then I think
told that.
Even like the end of it, he then goes back to the situation he was in before where he's a dick when he's hanging around other dicks, because I get that he doesn't really have a choice. And we could talk a whole lot about what they're trying to say about the US and the US military and the Vietnam War very specifically. Yes. About them being forced into a role they can't get out of. And that's all fair. I think that's a really good bit about Dogfight.
I think what's also good about Dogfight is that they get a point across of the boys have no idea what they're walking into. They are like, we're just gonna go hang out in some little like Eddie literally says, again, don't ask how I watched this, a little island near India. They don't even say Vietnam because they don't know Vietnam. And Rose, and I think the setting of San Francisco is really important here because San Francisco was the start of the hippie movement, especially in the 60s. Yeah. Rose, who is in touch with all of this stuff and comes out the gate swinging and saying, I know what's happening, is like, why are you going to Vietnam? Why are you really going? And that's I think, like, where it's successful, but yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
I think definitely the whole aspect of like the war and the military sections and just kind of theme is really, really good.
Yeah.
I love it. It's done really well. But I think to have this character, Eddie, who is a dick,
Hmm.
like there's no nice way to like try and go around it. He's a dick. He's a horrible person.
Yeah.
He gets taught maybe he shouldn't be like that. He
Hmm.
then has no choice but to return to being a dick.
Yeah.
And then years later, Rose takes him back without question. Because that's the ending. She gets back with him. He turns up and she's like,
Oh, Eddie, I'm so
"I'm
sorry all
back
your
with me.
dick friends have died.
I'm so sorry everyone you know has died and you went through this war and yeah, let's hope nothing's changed between us." Because I
I
think the ending of Act One, where she says, "I hope there's a war and I hope you die,"
yes.
it's incredible. Best line in the show.
I also like you can tell it's written by men because no one ever calls Rose beautiful.
That like at no point is it Eddie's like, "Oh, actually, you are beautiful." It's just you are ugly, but I can
I
get
love
past
you.
that.
But you taught me what folk music was. You taught me about Bob Dylan.
It's like you are ugly, but that's not all that matters in a relationship. And we're
Bob
meant to be like,
Dylan
this
is what
guy's
matters.
changed. This guy's a good person now.
Because of this, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, and I think one of the reasons why the show worked, especially off Broadway, and I think a lot of the reviews highlighted this, is because Lindsay Mendez was so good as Rose. And she was the only. I said this to Nell before we recorded. There are four women in Dogfight who speak.
Yeah,
Rose, her mother, Macy, and a random prostitute.
yeah,
Macy's also a prostitute.
yeah. It's
Interesting
kind
to think about.
of, we could get into how like this tends to be a theme in like war-esque musicals.
Yeah.
Like Bandstand, two women, and that's kind of it.
If we want to go Vietnam War route, Miss Saigon,
Yeah,
Kim
let's name all the women in Miss Saigon that have an actual role besides Asian woman.
Kim is a 17-year-old prostitute. Gigi, who knows how old she is, but she's a prostitute. Ellen, Chris's wife.
Incredible.
Miss Saigon, virgin of feminism. Round of applause.
But yeah, I think like just by virtue of having the main woman in your show being like someone who is ugly.
So we don't normally like pull from actors' quotes for this because I don't actually have the time. But I was like, I wonder what Lindsay Mendez has to say on this. She was
Mm,
off. I remember back in the day, like I remember seeing this clip of her saying, "I was often the only woman in that room with all those guys for like the weeks of rehearsal process because obviously
yeah.
they didn't need Annalie Ashford or whoever's playing the mother or whoever's playing the third prostitute. She does have a name, just they only mention it once in a screen where there's a lot of shouting, so I cannot remember."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah, they all bought me flowers because they felt bad for me being in this room with all these guys." And so I was like, I wonder if I can find like a quote from her quickly. So she did a piece with the New York Times talking about like I'll just read it and then I can comment. The New York Times interviewer would say, "You're prettier in person than in Dogfight. Some actresses don't want to look frumpy on stage. Did that bother you?" I have so much to say.
Insane leading, by the way.
Yeah.
Start with that is incredible.
No, they did talk a bit before then, like introduced her and talk about her life, but this is just like crazy. Um, in response, Lindsay Mendez would say, "When you hear of going to audition for Dogfight, the show about bringing ugly women to parties, you think, oh, great, thank you. Then you read the lines where people call you fat and you don't consider yourself fat or ugly. It can wear on you. But that's our dream as actors, to play someone and give someone else a voice. I love this character so much."
Yeah. I think Rose is such a like important character.
Yeah.
I think in part because of all of the shortcomings of the writing.
Yes.
That there is no world where she is like I've sung Pretty Funny multiple times, and it
Genuinely,
is
like,
such a good song.
I have been joking about like, oh, Pasek and Paul haven't written a good song since Dogfight. Like, Pretty Funny is the best song that they've ever written. I will
Oh,
go
truly.
like
Like I
all
can
jokes
I can
aside.
love songs from Dear Evan Hansen.
I can think Requiem's a banger. I
I
can
think
think
Requiem's a great song.
I can think a lot of their stuff in La La Land's a great song.
Yeah.
Nothing
I
but
just think
moves me in the way Pretty Funny does.
Pretty Funny could make me sob. Like it
I
could make me like full on like screaming on the floor
like that
just
moment,
from listening to it.
the moment where she goes, um, where she's like, "Oh, I might get it up actually." Um,
What, the bridge?
I'm just wanting like a very specific like line. I think you
All disasters happen up. Give me the
know.
vibe of the line. I
Um,
know this song, girl.
for a moment, he convinced me I could be pretty. The last
Oh,
one, and then it's the
funny.
pause, and she just goes, "Funny," and then
Funny.
it ends.
It's like the desire to like convince yourself that this
Mm,
is funny.
hmm
That, oh, it's just a joke. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
how funny.
yeah.
He got me. Haha.
hmm
It's just like I think the thing of Pretty Funny is such a devastating song.
Oh,
And then you have all of that like anger. You have that, I hope there's a war and I hope you die.
yeah.
You have all this anger. And then to turn around in the second act and have her go, but I could teach you how to not be mean.
I can not be mean, but also like I think half of what makes Pretty Funny so devastating is nothing short of wonderful,
Yeah.
and how amazing. Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, holy cow, what to wear in your hair? It's a mess. Are you mourning a death? Take a breath. I mistook you for butternut squash, where she's going through everything that's wrong with her that she's already pointing out.
Yeah.
And then she goes to what to do with someone who is nothing short than wonderful. Just a girl, just a guy, but it's him and it's you. And you've heard like a bird, how you lift, your chest full of, uh, and your chest feels like a pull of like joy because a boy interrupted your shift. Like that hope and optimism is what makes Pretty
Yeah.
Funny so devastating.
I think if you were to look at Dogfight, as we often do, like if you were to recenter it on Rose, it becomes a fucking tragedy because it's about like getting your hopes up, having them
Yeah.
completely dashed, and
Yeah.
then settling,
Yes.
of realizing, you know what, I'm not going to do better than this.
And that is the universal experience of womanhood.
And I wish that I could like take Dogfight and like I could stage a production of Dogfight
I would.
without changing anything.
No.
That is what I would want to center it on.
I was also thinking about it because I'm doing a class on disability this module, this teaching block. And disability theatre keeps coming up actually. And one of my assessments is you have to take a character with disabilities and analyze the media through disability theory. And I was thinking you could say something if you gave Rose, if you cast an actor who had a disability for Rose.
Yeah, because I think as well, like giving, oh God, this is going to come out so like rude.
Mm,
I think the issue with trying to cast Rose for a role that is simply calling her ugly
yeah,
is that every single time someone sees it, they're going to go, but Lindsay Mendez isn't ugly. She's beautiful. And no matter what
love
actress
you,
you cast,
Lindsay.
they're always going to be like, it's not ugly. She's gorgeous.
Yeah,
We could like, why does this guy think he's going to win the like dogfight
Dogfight. Yeah,
when he's got the most gorgeous woman ever?
yeah.
And I feel like if you had someone with a like physical issue,
Mm-hmm.
like something that you can tangibly say in the scope of 60s America, that you
Yes.
can point at and say, this is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a lot of it, it becomes an easier story to sell.
Yeah,
Because it's no longer just like, oh, she's ugly subjectively.
yeah.
It becomes like she's ugly because she is not perfect.
She's ugly because society sees her as ugly rather than this one idiot Marine sees her as ugly.
Yeah. And it's again one of those things of when you create roles like this, as important as they are,
Mm.
because it's tiring to have every like female role in theatre be like the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, and she's a gorgeous singer and she's a gorgeous dancer. And yet men don't like her. Because every role in musical theatre is like that at this point.
I mean, listened to musical theatre and it's just like, I just saw the best girl of my dreams. I
Yeah.
have to be with her.
It's all love at first sight because she was gorgeous, because she was lovely.
Did you see her, especially Beneath in the Moonlight, and the way that she danced? And then I heard her voice. Again, bring it back to Miss Saigon. Oh, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, who is she, John? I saw her across the room in a brothel. Oh, I need to stop. I need
God.
to let Miss Saigon go. I can't.
But
I
like,
saw this child across the room.
God. But like, I think these roles are important just because we don't have very many of them. But
Mm.
it's also such like, as Lindsay Mendez was saying, is a rough role to play to go into rehearsal and have, slave rehearsals work is you're saying the same line about 50 times until the director likes how you're saying it.
Yeah.
Imagine standing there and having someone going, "You're ugly." Sorry, you're ugly. You're ugly. You're ugly. You're ugly. Like 50 for like 20 minutes straight until the director likes the delivery.
Yeah.
And you're there like, I am, I guess.
No, it's not just it's just not just ugly, it's like you're fat and unsocialized.
You're fat and disgusting, and I think you're gonna win the ugliest girl at this party. You're like fat and just like over and over and over. And
But
not
it's
even
also
that it's one line, it's that the entire story
the
revolves
entire
around every
premise.
single character telling you that.
Yes, the world of the show condemns someone who is fat and prostitutes as ugly.
Yeah. But there's no like, and I think what you said earlier, that there is never a point where they go, actually, you are beautiful. Like, there's never a reprieve. You don't get like that healing bit of him saying, you know what, I was wrong, you're not ugly.
No,
What
he
you get is, you are ugly, I'll put up with it because I like you
you
as a
are
person.
ugly. I am gonna have sex with you though.
Yeah, I'll settle. Like,
I don't
I
think
think
I
again,
can.
this is the thing of I think obviously Rose is actually the one settling. The
Yeah.
way it reads in the show is that Eddie is the one settling.
It's also like, oh, does Eddie go hang out with his idiot friends who like to swear and get tattoos and patronize hookers, or does he hang out with Rose, who's lovely, um,
He's the
like
nicest person you ever met, but is not a looker.
likes folk music and just kind of wants to live her quiet life?
But she is ugly, so it's a tough call.
Yes, lovely. And what?
She's kind
And
of
then
fat, so what do we do?
she has curves, guys. Come on now.
She's curvy.
She's yeah. It's oh, it is interesting that Pasek and Paul seemingly could not let this idea of men being little shits go.
It's I wish there was actually some like retribution.
Yes.
Because I think again, the thing about I don't know how much I want to talk about like the whole war part of the show because I will not shut up about it.
Basically,
But it has always felt like the death of Eddie's two friends
it's tragic.
is tragic, and it's not a kind of thing of
Mother God was coming for them.
yeah, it's not like cathartic of these were horrible people, therefore we don't feel bad they died.
Mm.
It's the Vietnam War was a horrible thing, and unfortunately, most people died.
Yeah.
People's friends died, people's families died. They feel as a part of that tragedy rather than cathartic of, you know what, for once, they didn't come out on top. They died. And
They
even saying
were.
it, I feel bad because that's not who they're meant to be as character. Their death isn't meant to be that.
Well, there's a review I'm going to read from The Guardian about when it played the Southwark Playhouse in London, and apparently people cheered when they died.
But I feel like that's a fundamental misunderstanding of the show. Because to me, that is not what you're meant to feel when they die. It is meant to be a tragedy for Eddie.
Yes.
And there is some aspect of, you know what, even when everyone else died, when he was left completely alone, when he's unwanted by the country because he's now just a disabled veteran.
Mm.
I'm using disabled very broadly here because I have to assume he has PTSD.
Yeah, we could get into an academic debate around mental illness and disability, but
Yeah.
this is a musical theatre podcast.
I'm doing it as the essay that nearly killed me last week, which is
Yes.
being non-healthy as in unable to work.
Yeah.
And a mental disability like PTSD does put a hindrance on your ability to work. But even when he is in this, like, he's at rock bottom, like, he is completely useless in the eyes of the state. Rose still takes him back.
Yeah. But even in
like I feel like that is meant to be what their death is. But even though he, in some sense, chose them over her,
he did.
choosing to go back to them and choosing to fight the war with them, she was still there to pick up the pieces, which we can get into her character. It's basically these two sides constantly fighting. Rose is a horrifically written character. She's an incredibly written character, but she's horrifically written.
Yeah, no, Rose gets the best numbers of the, like, by all definitions, she's the best written character because she gets the best numbers of the show. She gets all of the audience sympathy. She has an arc. She learns.
As a concept, Rose is the best written character in the show. As an actual tangible, like, as a script, as a tangible, like, what the show is trying to say, he's horrific.
Because the show doesn't care about Rose. The show cares about Eddie, a man whose full name is Eddie Birdlace.
He's got two friends whose names also start with B, and they call themselves the 3 Bs.
And then they get B tattoos, but Eddie's not there. He's making up for his own stupid actions. And the man, I love to swear. God knows I love to swear. Every single episode, I have to turn on the explicit content thing.
We swear too much in this fucking thing.
Yes, as Nell's just demonstrated. But there is literally a scene where he is berating a waiter, and then Rose is like, you know, Eddie, you shouldn't swear so much. And then the waiter comes back to take her order, and she is swearing like a sailor.
Christ. It's this thing, if you have what should be the main part of the show, Rose, being written horrifically, compared to what I do still think is a very important part of the show, but too much focus. It's basically, you have to decide whether you're going to focus on the sexism and the character of Rose and what the show's trying to say. Which, I've not watched the movie, but I have to assume the movie focuses on this.
It was written by a woman, so I'm choosing to believe
that's why shall I get on the Wikipedia page for the movie and see if it's
I am choosing to believe that a woman can write Rose better than Pasek and Paul, who also gave us Zoe, like, based on their previous track record.
Oh my god. Eddie in the movie is played by River Phoenix. I didn't know that. Okay.
Like, Rose almost haunts the narrative, because it opens with the "Take Me Back," and she's, like, playing on her folky guitar, and she's, like, her voice is almost wafting through the theatre. Something else I was gonna say. Oh, and then they have to, like, give Rose a reason to, like, stay with Eddie, right? So they give her another banging tune before it's over, where she again is explaining the hope of, I just kind of have to go with life because it's all going to be over tomorrow, because you're going to war and the world's going to fundamentally change.
Oh my god, in the movie, Birdlace gets wounded in the leg and walks with a limp for the rest of the film. So he does have a disability in the movie.
Derek Klenner was not walking with a limp. In the 5XP bootleg I saw, may or may not have seen, never watched a bootleg in my life, he was not walking in a limp in that one scene.
So, from my understanding of what I've just read of the plot synopsis, it seems to be a lot more focus on the relationship between Rose and Eddie, rather than the war, which I feel the musical focuses on more.
I think they focus too much on the two other male characters, because you have scenes where, like, Eddie's off with Rose, and yet we're seeing them get tattoos, patronize sex workers.
And I do think there is a bit of, like, what Pasek and Paul are trying to say about the military, about the US in general, which is all very interesting. And I just kind of wish they had watched Dogfight, the movie, said, wouldn't it be way more interesting if we focused on the war, because we're men, and then written something else?
Again, I am once again asking Pasek and Paul to go back to the drawing board.
Like, I think it'd be fine to say this is inspired by the movie Dogfight, in that we watched it, and a lot of these characters are going to share similarities.
The idea of like, what do you do with your last night before you walk into a war without knowing it is a very
Yeah,
interesting concept.
like even like the idea of establishing a relationship like Rose and Eddie's, where it's you have an out. Can you actually leave the military? Can you get out of what you've been conscripted to do?
And no, he wasn't even conscripted. He signed up to be a Marine because they weren't conscripting at that point.
But like the idea of being like, can you, like, even if you had the opportunity, just the psyche of the American military,
no,
would you
yeah, because
leave?
they
No.
do get into that because at first Eddie's like, my dad was a World War II veteran, and then he's talking with Rose and is like, my dad left.
Yeah,
There's like, close enough, welcome back, Evan Hansen.
sure, why not? I love writing liars.
They love
I think
writing liars with daddy issues who take it out on poor women.
On poor defenseless women who are,
Traumatized
for some reason, they're like on the back burner of this entire plot when they really should be at the front.
Yeah, the best parts.
So I think, to be fair, this is a thing we have always had an issue with like Pasek and Paul musicals.
Yeah.
Is that there is a subplot, or there is something else going on within the plot of the show that we're like, why don't they just focus on this? Why don't they just commit? Like with Dear Evan Hansen, it was the Murphy family. But why don't you just explore the Murphy family?
That musical's called Next to Normal.
That's called Next to Normal. But like, why not explore that? You do it a little bit, and when you do it, it's really fun.
It's effective.
Even still calling it Dear Evan Hansen, having Evan Hansen as a kind of villain character, he already is, but
he is.
Having him as a character that comes in to like further disrupt the family, even under the guise of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's an interesting story, as opposed to there is a whole situation going on with this family.
Yeah.
The kid with anxiety who lies, but I talk about him first. And then with Dogfight, I don't even know of focusing on the war, which is very interesting. I think this is a better situation than Dear Evan Hansen because at least what they have chosen to focus on is interesting.
But like they start and end with Eddie. Like the story starts and ends with Eddie, and we see Rose through the context in which he wants us to see Rose. When it's the moments where we're away, where it's just Rose on stage, where she's talking about flushes with the date for the first time, or she's saying pretty funny.
It's also the fact that because Rose is such a sideline character in that she only exists for Eddie, rather than like again, a lot of her good songs are about her taking like
the risk,
her autonomy back.
Yeah.
Pretty Funny is being like, I'm going to think of the situation like this. A lot of her, like, she has a song in Act 2, and I've forgotten the name, but it's when she's like, I've decided I need to stop caring what other people think about me because it's always going to end like it did with you. They're never going to like me for how I look.
Before it's over?
Yeah.
The quiet girl with her guitar, and then it goes to Give Way, which is the song that she sings before
she has a lot of great songs.
The war.
But I feel like because her character exists just for Eddie, it becomes almost like a cruelness on the part of Pasek and Paul to continue to keep her as a like being described as fat and ugly and like unlikable. Because that no longer becomes important to the story.
I mean, it is interesting to me that the title song of Dogfight is the duet between Macy and Rose, where they're talking about like two different views of men. Macy's basically saying, I'm making money from this. This is the world that we're living in. This is how I get by. And
it's that kind of thing of they're constantly almost there.
So
they're like
close.
Almost getting it every single time. They're like, Dogfight, like you're saying, this title song being between the women.
The two women
that like, you are so close to getting what you need to understand. And then turning around and being like, what if we could redeem Eddie? What if we could make him likable?
What if? Because Macy literally says to Rose, when you get quick thin, then you're sick, fit. when you get thick skin, then you're quick to numb. And then Rose counters that with, if you let them win, the dog's what you become.
Yeah. You're so close to getting it. You're like you're like touching it. Come on there.
Within reach.
Commit.
Commit to doing feminism. They need to go to the Lena Dunham School of Feminism.
Truly. Like, but I even think if you were taking Dogfight the movie as your inspiration, and
Yeah.
you even just changed it to Rose is someone who is looking for a like long-term relationship, and Eddie exploits this and says, "Yes, of course I'll marry you," but then is just using her for a one-night stand. Even that would get you to the same point you need to Eddie to be at for your story to work.
Yeah.
You'd still get her saying, "You're using me. You are a man and you are using me to get what you want without any care for my feelings." And he would say, "I'm sorry." And then you wouldn't need to have an entire show where it's four women, the rest of the cast being men, and all of them are calling one woman ugly.
They're not even just calling
Which
this
just
woman ugly. They're calling every woman ugly.
calling
They're
all
going
the women ugly.
ugly, ugly. There's an entire song where they just go around finding, called Hey Good Looking, where they just go
Yeah.
around finding ugly women. And at one point,
Incredible.
I think at one point they're like, they find a man. They get into some weird trans politics.
Oh, I don't even want to open that door
I don't want
because
to open that can of worms. And his response is like, amazing, incredible. And it's like, yes, in the 1960s, unfortunately, that would be the response, despite the fact that we're
Yeah.
in the hippie mecca of San Francisco.
It's just I feel like I've read ahead of it on this doc. I think
Oh,
like they
share
talk
whatever
about this
from
like
that. That's for the discussion.
yeah, but I think like I'm trying to talk about this idea of casual cruelty
Mhm.
among men, not only in
Yes.
60s America, but setting it in 60s America makes sense.
Mm.
But in general, with men, there is a casual cruelty. It's
Mhm.
just part of the like vibes of
Yes.
being a man.
And they are constantly like, they're also mean to each other. Again, they cannot stop swearing.
Yeah. But I feel like what they've Pasek and Paul addressing this is what they've then missed is that they themselves have that casual cruelty
Yeah.
in that creating the character of Rose to be solely around being unattractive is
Yeah.
not needed for what they're trying to do.
Mm.
They could have done something else very easily.
Yeah.
And the actual like dogfight part of the show, the reason it's called Dogfight, they could have changed it.
Yeah.
They could have as well so easily had it as they have a dogfight and Rose comes in and breaks it up and is like a very like forward-thinking hippie. She's at the forefront of the like God, 60s. What was this? Second wave feminism? First wave even?
No, first wave was the right to vote.
So this is second wave.
Second off, we're at the beginning stages of the third. Rose is going to be on the front lines of the
Like
anti-war.
Roe v. Wade.
Yeah,
She'll be there for
Rose is like fighting the good fight.
yeah. But I think it would be so easy to even have them have a dogfight with a ton of unnamed female characters. And Rose comes in and says, I will not allow you to do this. Like, I don't care what you think. And they can joke around about her and be like, oh, maybe we should have taken you. Ha ha ha. But being like, she was not picked for this dogfight. Even that would make sense.
And they try and give Eddie like a good out by being like, he tries to say, oh, he tries to say, oh, like, let's not go. And Rose is like, no, I want to go to this party. Let me come to a party with all of you and your friends.
But I even feel like that is less tied into Rose and everything with her and more tied into the war thing because it's
Yeah.
like peer pressure, just going along with it. Of even though in his soul, like personally, he disagrees with what is being done,
Yeah.
he still feels the need to go along with it. He has gotten this far. He has got a girl, told her to come to a party, is on the way to the party, and only at this point is he thinking, maybe I shouldn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
He's done all the hard bits. It's only when it will come back to bite him because this girl is going to think he's mean
Mm-hmm.
that he begins to have doubts.
Yeah.
It infuriates me because I love Dogfight. And I think if I could ignore everything with Rose I
Yeah.
would love it because I love all of the stuff about like talking about sexism and masculinity. That's all really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I can't ignore Rose, it's these two sides fighting and it's awful. It doesn't make sense.
I don't. I think Dogfight is the best score that Pasek and Paul have written, and I think it gets the closest to doing something interesting. And I also don't always think that art should have answers. I think a lot of times the best pieces of art ask us questions and make us think. And Dogfight did make me think. However, I wish Rose was written by a woman.
It literally is just the thing of I think they are so close to getting it.
Yes.
But if they had just committed a little bit more, I think you would still have these questions of is Eddie actually redeemable? Is Rose settling because she thinks she won't get any better? Should she settle? Is this a thing about 1960s America or is this a thing about the current state of the world?
Yeah.
Talking about the war is like, was that an extenuating factor? Was that what made Dogfight happen?
Yeah.
Would Eddie have acted that way if there wasn't a war, if he wasn't going to be shipped out tomorrow? Would Rose
Yeah.
have taken him back if Eddie hadn't just gone through a war? Those are a lot of very good questions to have. My issue is that because it doesn't commit, it gets halfway there, not even that, 3/4 of the way there,
Yeah.
and then gives up.
Mhm.
That my questions are not about the show. They're about why do you not get what you're writing? Why don't you understand your own character?
Also, being it's such a uniquely female experience that they're portraying through Rose.
Yeah.
It is, and when it works, it's like, oh fuck, this is good. I really
It's
relate to this in a way that a man could never.
I think it's basically when Rose is alone, when there's no one else influencing who her character is, she is a perfect character. She is like one of the most interestingly written female characters of like contemporary musical theatre.
Oh yeah, we're lacking in them.
We're lacking at them, so the bar's quite low, but
Ours.
nonetheless, she is one of them. It's the second she has to interact with other characters,
Mm-hmm.
she like loses herself.
Mm-hmm.
She becomes like a mother and a teacher to Eddie. She becomes someone who can be exploited.
And
When
she,
she's with other women, even then it's less so. Like she still is important, but she also becomes very one-dimensional.
yeah,
It's infuriating. I love Dogfight and it infuriates me.
I really do love Dogfight. I was just thinking about it. I was like, fuck, you can tell Hades Town is written by a woman.
You can.
You can tell, even though it's got two women speaking characters when Hermes isn't being played by women. And you can also tell Waitress was written by a woman.
Yeah. I
More
think this is the
women in
thing.
musical theatre.
Truly. If we could just get like a woman revamp of Dogfight.
Dramaturg. Someone call up Janine Tesori. Someone call Sarah
Honestly.
Bareilles.
Oh, I know Sarah Bareilles would do well. Get Rachel Chavkin on like directing.
Yeah, just get her to look at it. Just get her to
Just
like.
get her to like be in the room.
Yeah, guys, just get a woman in the room other than Lindsay Mendez,
Do
who's
you know
doing
what? Do you
God's
know what?
work.
You know who would fucking fund our like feminist revival of Dogfight?
Too.
Taylor Swift. And this is how we get her the Tony. Taylor Swift's
Taylor.
Dogfight.
Taylor Allison Swift, give me a call.
Title of this episode: Dogfight Taylor's version.
I was having this
Because even
debate.
if she had like no say in it, I think just having her name attached, she would fund it because she'd be like, yes, feminism.
She'd be like, Lena Dunham feminism, sign me
Lena
up.
Dunham
No, we
feminism.
just need
This is
Lena
what I was
Dunham.
made for. Let's just get Lena Dunham.
What if we just
Let's
called
bring
Lena
back
up?
the 2014 feminists.
Yes.
You know what? Fuck it. Who was that? Who was that woman? She was a YouTuber and she had like a lipstick line called like Boss, but it's spelled like Bawse.
Jesus fucking
Do you
Christ.
know who I'm talking about?
Vaguely, yeah.
Superwoman or something. You know
Yeah.
who I'm talking about.
Yes.
What was her
Yes.
name?
She had a failed talk show.
Yes. Oh my God, what the fuck was her name?
I was having this discussion with my friend who does not like musicals, but we vibe about music, like just general music, and we were talking about whether or not Taylor Swift or Lana Del Rey would ever write a musical.
Lily Singh.
Lily Singh!
Lily Singh. We
Oh!
need to bring Lily Singh back.
And I was like, one, Lana can't be asked to write a musical. Tell you what musical I think Lana could write really well.
What?
Valley of the Dolls. Do it notebook style. If anyone gets what I'm saying, call me up. Let's discuss it. Taylor, on the other hand, I just think wants an EGOT. I don't think she actually cares about musical theatre. I just think she wants an EGOT.
Well, we can give it to her.
Taylor, come on. All you have to do is breathe in the way of musical theatre and someone will throw you a Tony. Ingrid Michaelson, let's get her in the room.
Dude, I truly believe we should get Lily Singh back as part of our revival of Dogfight.
Yeah.
We're getting the band back together.
We're getting the band back together. Let's get the girl squad. The entirety of the girl
Let's
squad.
get the girl squad back.
Fuck it. I'll even let Carly Kloss be there.
I think Carly Kloss could bring something big to it.
I'm not a gala. I just hate the fact that she's kind of involved with the Trumps.
Yeah. I think that I've ranted enough about Dogfight.
Dogfight, yeah, same.
I've tired myself out, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
Let's move on. It would win the Richard Rogers Studio Production Awards voted by. So there was this article that was like, it got a bad review in the New York Post, but what do they know anyway? Stephen Sondheim, Janine Tesori, David Ives, John Gad, Lynn Ahrens, Sheldon Hardrick, John Wildman, and Richard Maltby Jr. all voted for it to win it. First off, Richard Maltby Jr. was involved in Miss Saigon. I don't care what he has to say about the Vietnam War.
But Lynn Ahrens.
Lynn Ahrens, I would be intrigued to see her take on it.
It's clearly she liked it.
No, she wrote Back to Before, though, which is one of the greatest songs ever written.
That's true.
And Your Daddy's Son, greatest song ever written. I don't play with those songs when it comes to those songs. I mean, it is a good musical. They just haven't had like an hours long discussion about it, though.
Yeah.
And if it's like a list of musicals, they're like, oh, I liked Dogfight. It was fun. It was cute. It made me think. Let me tick it. Every single article is like, these are the second coming of Rodgers and Hammerstein and Lana and Lowe's. Calm down. They've like written one full musical and song cycle at this point. And like they've written 3 musicals and a song cycle and 2 movie musicals since. I don't think they fully cashed in that check. Oh, one thing I'm gonna say. I can hear a bit of Jason Robert Brown influence in the score.
Yeah.
In the piano.
But kind of hard to avoid.
Yeah, shout out Jason.
Shout out Jason.
I haven't shouted him out in a long time, you might be getting a bit concerned.
No. Considering he searches up his own name, as we found out.
Searches up his own thing, guys.
Jason Robert Brown does search up his own name.
Jason Robert Brown is his own biggest fan.
Yeah.
It would be nominated for Outstanding Actress for Lindsay Mendez at the Drama Desks, Outstanding Production of a Broadway or off-Broadway musical, and Distinguished Performance for Lindsay Mendez at the Drama League Award, Outstanding New Off-Broadway Musical, Outstanding Book of a Musical, Outstanding Score, Outstanding Actress, Outstanding Lighting Design, and then winning Outstanding Musical and Outstanding Choreographer at the Lucille Lortel Awards. Do you know the guy that did the choreography for Newsies also did the choreography for this?
Wow.
Yeah. Fresh off of Newsies, he's like, I'm gonna go do Dogfight now. It would have its London premiere at the Suffolk Playhouse starring Jamie Moscato and Laura Jane Matthews.
She's fucking everywhere.
He is just like, he's everywhere.
God.
Yeah.
He would have I can bet he did a great Eddie.
Yeah, if anyone has a bootleg, send it to me. I've no.
If anyone has a bootleg of Jamie Moscato as Eddie, I would never watch a bootleg, but I'd love to see it.
His JD was actually really good, thinking about it. Yeah.
I never saw his JD. Actually, did I?
You did, at the Other Palace.
I did. I did see his JD.
He was the first
I have no memory, but I'm sure it was good.
I remember thinking he was better than Carrie Fletcher.
Damn.
Yeah. The Guardian would give it 5 stars, saying the critical response so far is deferred over the show. Written by Peter Duchan, and bench Pasek and Justin Paul. Does not undercut the repellent misogyny of its setup. Does it, whether or not it does enough to undercut the repellent misogyny of its setup. That, admittedly, is something highly uncomfortable about watching a group of young women paraded around a dance floor, in the knowledge that we are meant to find them deeply unattractive. One wonders how on earth the director put this to actresses' agents. But in my mind, the show goes on to subvert the young men misogyny at every level, not unleast alluring to that attitude so clearly with the attitude of war, this swaggering macho culture as at its worst, one that dehumanizes both women and the faceless enemy of the Marines are being dispatched to fight, and our sympathies are clearly lie with the women. With the performance I saw, a huge cheer erupted when the men, without saying too much, are given their just desserts. Interesting. And the last thing I have written down here is Pasek and Paul have not been heard from since TBH, which we all know.
Yeah.
Never done anything since. What the hell? Oh, I have a feeling I know what we're doing next week.
Oh,
Yeah.
my jokes.
No.
I feel like there's a yeah.
Yeah. I have an idea of something we could actually do.
No, we have to do it because
No,
it's
we're
a
going
great
to do
joke.
it. We're going to do it, but then we're actually going to talk about John Reese share.
Can I say what we're doing?
Yeah, and then I'll share
We're...
what my idea is for the bulk of the episode.
Okay, we're doing Groundhog Day again because it's funny.
Nell's had this
every
joke
year
planned since we got
since
off
we did
mic
Groundhog Day
last
year.
time. I was at a house party and like a text from Nell saying, just come up with a great joke idea.
Yeah. Esme, to keep with traditions as well. Early spring or late spring?
Oh,
What are you saying?
late spring.
Fuck. You did that last year and you lost.
No, I feel it in my bones.
I'm going to say early spring again. But
Again,
I do kind of feel like it's going to be a late spring.
it's grand because it's freezing at the moment.
Because it is fucking freezing. But
It's been freezing for weeks. It feels like
I know.
Grammys
Okay.
are also the day before the Grammys.
Mm.
I love the Grammys. I'm so excited. Chapel Roan doesn't win anything, then I'm burning the institution to the ground. That's a joke. Okay, so do you want to hear my pitch about what we're actually going to do in the episode?
Yeah, sure.
Now that we have seen every single Best Musical nominee for 2017,
Oh my god.
we conduct our own Tony Awards for that year.
We're stuck in a time loop, bro.
What?
We're stuck in a time loop of the 2017 Tony Awards.
Well, this will be us finally putting them to bed.
Yeah.
What else?
That's a lie. We are going to keep talking about them. Almost definitely.
Almost definitely. But what else are we going to do?
Talk about something new? As if.
Like what? What would we talk about? The stage door? I have so much to say about the stage door.
Esme keeps making drafts on TikTok of the stage, like talking about the concept of the stage door.
Not just that. I was feeling quite unhinged yesterday, and I veered quite quickly off into Gracie Abrams can't sing. I'm not gonna say what preempted me just saying, oh yeah, Gracie Abrams can't sing. Because yeah.
We've got a list.
It's on the list. But yeah, this is kind of our first like episode where we're taking it a bit more chill this year.
Yeah.
Life is busy. And then I just scrolled too far and saw the date where my diss is in.
Too far. You can see it from like when we see Hadestown.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it here so much. Almost like to the month, like a month after we see Hadestown. Yeah, I'll come up with something for us to talk about.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next week for Groundhog Day. Let us know your predictions. And yeah. All right. Bye-bye.